So a while back I made a video explaining what my ideal 3D Sonic would look like. Now I do agree with the majority of what I said there. I did a really poor job at explaining everything I have. So I decided to make a remake of that video, with somewhat decent editing for a change. So let's get into it. So just like I said in the last video, the name of this game will be Sonic Timelines. This name will make sense later on. But unlike the last video, I actually have a story to tell this time around. It's nothing too amazing, because again, I'm not a story writer whatsoever, but it is a little plot I came up with. Our story starts out with Silver the Hedgehog meditating on top of a hill. While he is meditating, he has a weird vision in his brain. He sees Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman, next to a godlike being, and the both of them merge together to create an unstoppable force. Even though he was there with Sonic and Shadow by his side in their super forms, they were easily outmatched. After waking up from this terrible vision, he immediately decided to talk to Sonic and Shadow. After taking some time, he eventually found Sonic. Now, Sonic being his adventurous self, he immediately agreed to jump on. But trying to have Shadow to agree to come with them was far more difficult than he thought. At first, Shadow was extremely hesitant to join them. But then after he was told about the vision, he was very surprised by it. Dr. Eggman next to a godlike being? This is odd, especially since Eggman has been eerily quiet lately, and no signs of him. Eventually, Shadow agrees to join them, but asks Silver how would they be able to find Eggman. He's been lost for a while right now. And Silver said to not worry. He's been training his psychic abilities a lot lately. He can detect where Eggman is, and can open up a portal to send him there. It will take up all of his energy, but it's the only way to reach that place. After regaining his energy, Silver looked back at Sonic and Shadow and told them that they need to stop Eggman before his vision comes true, because if they didn't, this could be the end of all reality. Both Sonic and Shadow looked at each other, then back at Silver with a determined look, telling him that we will do it no matter what. Finally, all three hedgehogs enter the portal and go to the island of the gods of the ancients. But something strange happened when they entered. All three of them went to the exact same island, but at completely different time periods. Shadow stuck in the past, Sonic in the present, and Silver in the future. So, stupid little story aside, time to get to the stuff that actually matters. Good old gameplay. Now for starters, in terms of movement, all three hedgehogs will play pretty much the same, but their main difference comes in their combat abilities. For Sonic, he will have emphasis on wind-like powers, causing tornadoes and stuff. Well, with it he can launch enemies in the air, or shoots like the key blast he uses in Frontiers, pretty similar to that. Shadow will have Doom Morph powers, having the ability to grab enemies almost like Spider-Man, and Chaos Control to stop time. Silver will have Telekinesis, very similar to how he used it in 06, but with a bit more advancement to it. He'll be able to do something like mind control people, which is actually an ability he has. So he can use it to like mind control his enemies to fight other enemies. In terms of movement, Sonic will be the fastest one, but they're pretty much the same in almost every other regard. And unlike Frontiers' somewhat janky combat, this one will be a lot more competent. Somewhat similar to Spark the Electric Jester 3, where you can really juggle enemies and stuff. All three would have different type of combos and different ways of fighting them, to give each one their own unique style. And very similar to Sonic 06, aka the last game where these three were the main characters, each one will have their own campaign, taking place on the same island but in different time periods. Sonic's will be in the present, let's call this island Zap Island. In this time, the environment will look like a mix of Sonic CD and Frontiers, where it'll be all destroyed ruins, but they will be built around with Eggman machinery and stuff. All the enemies will look similar to Egg Pawns, but with ancient technology on them, because Eggman had a hold of that at the end of Frontiers. Eggman will be the main villain of Sonic's campaign. Now after that we have Shadow's campaign. Shadow's campaign will take place in the past of Zap Island. The environment of this island will be very similar to that of a prehistoric area. Think of like the areas in Crash 4 or even the one in Easlly 2, a very jungle type area. The enemies in this area would be dinosaurs, multiple kinds of it. But the interesting thing that they all have black pupils, or black eyes and red pupils. Now why is that, you may ask? That's because the main rival of this island is Neo Metal Sonic. Metal uses a very similar power to the Metal Virus from the IDW comics to control the dinosaur's brain, giving them powers. And now last but not least is Silver's campaign. Silver's campaign will obviously take place in the future of Zap Island. The environment this time around will be very Neon City-like, or very cyberpunk-like. And the enemies will all actually be the enemies from Frontiers. Like all of them. Including even the Titans, but this time they will be just statues around the island. Now, the reason for that is because the main villain of this one is actually Sage. She's going to be Silver's main rival in his campaign. Now that I've established the campaigns and how the environment will look like, time to talk about how they would traverse it. You see, Sonic would be the only one to have a spin dash, so there'll be plenty of hills, loops to utilize that and for his momentum. Shadow will have a lot of places to use his morph powers, whether it be Doom Morph or Doom Surf, though his Doom Wings will be downplayed a bit. Instead of flying, it will just be gliding this time around. The reason for that is because Silver will be able to fly in his, that'd be his main traversal in his campaign. In fact, a lot of the city will utilize, he would have to utilize his flying abilities. And of course, I cannot forget about action stages. These will all be included in every campaign, 7 each. And they will be unlocked very similarly to the way you do in Frontiers. You defeat enemies, then get portal gears to open them. But unlike Frontiers, these are mandatory to do in order to finish the campaign. Also, unlike Frontiers, these will all be originally designed with original environments. And that's not the only thing. Unlike how in Frontiers where the action stages were like a recreation of the versus memory, action stages this time around would actually be portals to different planets. So say for example you went to a stage in Sonic's campaign, and that stage was a city in a war with like an alien race or something. If you went through the same level but in Silver's campaign, it would instead be the future version of that level, in which there is no war and nothing bad happens. Same thing applies with Shadow. So basically, similarly to how all three hedgehogs are on the same island but in different times, same thing applies to their action stages, which I think is cool because it leans more towards the whole timelines thing that I came up with. After defeating all three campaigns, you'll finally unlock the last one. Once you unlock it and enter, a massive twist is revealed to you. The three rivals that you fought, Neo, the Sage, and Eggman, were all copies made by the Ancients' God. We then cut to a cutscene inside of a massive spaceship that Eggman built. So big it's actually as big as a planet. Once we get inside, we see Eggman talking with the Ancients' God, explaining to him that three evil hedgehogs will enter this world and kill him. Now, the Ancients' God, despite being extremely powerful, far stronger than anyone we ever fought, is extremely naive and also a pacifist. So he believed Eggman immediately. Eggman telling him that he doesn't need to worry, he doesn't need to transfer some of his power to him, and he will take care of them. The Ancients' God was surprised by this request, but he decided to agree. However, when he turned his back around, Eggman took a device built by the Ancients' technology and hits him at the back of his head. In a matter of minutes, he absorbed all of his energy in one go. The Ancients' God fell to the floor, shocked by this, but before he could even say anything, he passed out. Then Eggman starts to laugh maniacally, now holding the power that surpasses everyone. After this, we cut to the outside of Eggman's ship, and we see a portal open up. The three hedgehogs land on the back of the ship, and right before the final level starts, you are given an option to play as either Sonic, Shadow, or Silver. The one who you pick is the one that you're going to be playing for the rest of the campaign. Now, bear in mind, this will only affect that big action stage that you're going to go through. The final boss you will be able to play as all three, but in this one, you just specifically pick the character you go for the action stage. And on replay playthroughs, you can pick the others if you want. After finishing the last and longest action stage in the game, you finally approach Dr. Eggman. This time, he transformed into something completely unrecognizable, at least from his usual self. Silver gets shocked seeing this, It looks exactly like how Eggman looked in his vision. Before the three hedgehogs could even say anything, Dr. Eggman has summoned the 7 Chaos Emeralds right in front of them. Shoot, so that's where they were, said Sonic, because he was looking for them the entire time before this adventure. Eggman throws the Chaos Emeralds at them and tells them, "Go ahead, transform. See what these worthless forms are good for you." Hesitant, the three hedgehogs know they didn't have any chance. They use the 7 Chaos Emeralds and transform into the super forms, thus beginning the first phase of the final boss. And it is a complete massacre. Eggman easily stomps all 3 hedgehogs. Before he could finally finish them off, suddenly, the Master Emerald spawns right in front of him. "What? What's the meaning of this?" says Eggman. But then the Master Emerald started speaking and saying, "These 3 hedgehogs have saved all reality before, and they will do it again, but this time as one." And then the Master Emerald glows very powerfully, almost like a Big Bang effect. And then it makes the 3 hedgehogs all transform into one being, fusing into Son Delver, the strongest being in all of reality. Eggman laughs seeing this. Doesn't matter, you just turn into one big rodent after all. And then the final phase, or second phase of the final fight starts. It's a complete epic showdown, the most epic in all of Sonic history. Though it wasn't an easy victory, Son Delver had to put his all to win this fight. Eventually, he managed to defeat the Doctor. The final blow was so overwhelmingly strong, it destroyed all the universes in its infinite higher dimensions. After that, Son Delver defuses, and the 3 hedgehogs stare, looking at complete nothingness. Before they could panic, the Ancient God shows up on top of the Master Emerald. Before they could say anything, the Ancient God starts talking, apologizing for his naivety in believing Dr. Eggman. They kept on talking for a while, until eventually they asked, "Well, could you bring back everything?" And the Ancient God said, "No problem." With a wave of his hand, he brought back the entirety of the multiverse, including all of its dimensions. After that, the 3 hedgehogs returned back to their home. Yeah, a pretty weak ending, I'll say. But to be honest, when I made this, I didn't really intend to write something phenomenal. I just wanted to give a really rough idea of what I wanted to see. I guess for the rest of this video, I'll just talk about the extra portion. And that will be just OCT and the art style. For the soundtrack, just like I said in my last video, I want a mix of 06 and Frontiers. They have the best soundtrack in the franchise, and that's pretty much all I want. As for the art style, just like the last video, I still stick to this. Sega, get to CyberConnect 2. You worked with them before and they are phenomenal at what they do. Do that and I'm pretty much the happiest guy alive. And with that, I have finally finished this video. This is easily the most ambitious thing I have ever made. I have no knowledge on editing or audio mixing or anything, but I tried my absolute best with this one. And honestly, I feel like it's fitting that's my most ambitious thing I ever made. It was about one of my favorite franchises. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed my ideas, please tell me in the comments. And other than that, take care. Peace.